Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the community update on the new Ames High School. My name's Elisa Franzen, and I'm currently serving as the president of the board of directors.
I'm Jenny Reisner, and I'm the superintendent here.
And we just want to welcome all of you, and what an exciting opportunity for us to be here to share with you, have our architects and construction managers share with you where we are in the process, the progress that has been made to date, and what lies ahead for this exciting opportunity for our community. I think as the board and our staff sat around earlier this afternoon at a work session, it is just really awesome to be able to sit and see the culmination of all of this effort over the past few months, and the picture starting to come to fruition.
And I think the important thing for us, just as we have gotten to this point, this is really a celebration. When you see this incredible building and what we were able to do and stay within our budget, it's pretty exciting. So tonight's a really great night for us as a school district, and we're glad you're here to get to see it as well.
So we're going to go ahead and turn it over to our architects. Kristen's going to lead us through some stuff, and Dean from our construction manager from Story, and they will present you with some information, and then you'll have some opportunities to ask some questions.
So we're going to start out with just an overview of the project schedule. So right now, we're preparing for an early earthwork and site development package that we expect to bid at the end of April. That will allow us to kick off and get started at the beginning of June. So school's out May 31st. We expect to hit the ground running the following week and start erecting fence, moving in trailers, getting mobilized on site, and beginning earthwork. The bids for the building, or most of the balance of the building, will be taken at the end of June. That will start us on construction, and we'll come back to phasing sort of at the end of the presentation. So I think you'll get an idea of how we expect to progress through the project. Issuance 3, we'll wait to bid the demolition and sort of site redevelopment until early in 2022. We haven't set a specific date for that, but with that work occurring out in the future, we don't want to bid it too early. We will have the building open for classes in August of 2022. At that point, we'll begin existing building decommissioning and demolition activities with the goal of having the site restored at the west where the existing building is, and complete in September of 2023. So at schematic design approval, we were charged with meeting a budget of $137 million for this project. We're pleased to report that OPN delivered design development drawings to us in January. We spent the last month doing a detailed takeoff of those. And right now, we're sitting good in the budget, actually just under the 137, at a place we're very comfortable. That splits out to the pool being $121,500,000, with the pool being $15,369,000 in round numbers. We know we aren't done. You know, we have a long way to go, and we've got to maintain control and diligence on meeting budget, and we know we have our work cut out for us, but at this point we're confident we'll be able to make the budget.
All right, so I wanted to give you a quick design update where we're at. A lot of this information, site plan and building plans, have been in the works for quite a while, so some of this might look a little familiar to you from what's gone out in some of the magazines. The middle of the board here is our site plan. The building, the new building, is the big white block in the middle there. The existing school is right underneath the green space here. Ridgewood is out on the east here, and 20th Street on the north. The new building will have student parking on the south kind of east corner of the site. The existing stadium remains here on the south. And then we've got the bus drop-off over next to Ridgewood, and faculty parking on the north. There's 2 practice fields. One is a synthetic field, one is a grass field. You'll notice in the middle of the site there is, we call it a science discovery area. That's where the greenhouse is, and the garden space, and a demonstration photovoltaic array. And then further out, closer to the prairie, is the outdoor classroom. So that'll be a covered structure for faculty and students to go out and use the prairie and outdoor space for learning. Just to walk you through the floor plans quick, we've got a bunch of images to show you of what the interior of the building will start to look like. But just to give you a quick overview, the building is 3 stories. We've got a basement level, which is shown in this plan here on the left-hand side. It's a partial basement. It doesn't go over the entire, underneath the entire building. And this area, the south end of the building, is primarily at the athletics area. So it's color-coded by the program that that's in it. The orange is the pool or the natatorium space. The pink is the physical education space, so practice gym, auxiliary gym, dance cheer room, and weight room. And the red is the competition athletic facilities, like the main competition gym, the wrestling room, and then there's a bunch of locker room space down on that level 0 space. There's also a little tiny space that shows up on that floor plan. That is the orchestra pit that serves the auditorium. So moving up to first floor, the plan in the middle here is first floor. Just to orient you, you've got the main entrance, which is on the site plan here. You can kind of see where the building makes a little bit of an angle in the middle there. This is the main commons, lunchroom, hangout space in the building. It's also the main entrance here on the east side. So when you come into that space, you'll go kind of either to the north or to the south. Again, the south is primarily athletics on this level. We do have some program space. We've got the culinary foods lab in this location, the kitchen that serves the common space here, and then a couple of other academic programs. On the north side of the building, right off of the commons, sort of, you've got the auditorium space. This is situated so after hours, the commons and the auditorium can be accessed without having access to the rest of the building. Similarly, the main entrance for spectators to any competition athletic events would be from the commons as well. So you've got a nice kind of pre-function space before you go into the main viewing space. The green is the main office for the building, so everybody coming in and going from the building will go right by the main office. And during the school day, just like there is today, you have to go into a secure vestibule and then into the main office to check in or check out. As I mentioned before, we've got the performing arts space here in this kind of gray color in the middle. The auditorium seats 1,000 people and has a stage with a full fly loft and equipped for all types of performances, both music and theatrical. The yellow is the music pod, so we've got band, choir, orchestra in that pod and associated practice rooms and ensemble spaces. The blue on the far north end is the CTE pod. That includes programs like woods and metals, art, business, ag, and nursing. And then the purple color and the little bit of the light green are the academic pods. Those would have all the main classrooms and science labs. The second floor is fairly similar to the first. We've got, again, the classroom pods on the north and on the south and the second floor. And stitching the two of those together would be the media center in the middle. And the media center looks out over the commons area, and the media center is positioned in that location so there can be some after-hours access. So with that, I'll jump into the pretty pictures, the fun part. Here's a view of the new building looking kind of an aerial view looking from the east. So you can see Ridgewood in the foreground. The main entrance is located here in the center of the building. There's a canopy structure that comes out to provide cover from rain and snow. Again, the admin office is the glass box form here, so lots of visibility out to the parking lot, to the site area for some passive supervision over those areas. And then you see tucked behind the canopy here is a glass box volume. That's the commons. It's glass on both both the east and the west side, so there'd be a lot of natural light coming through that space. To the south, or to the left-hand side here, is a precast box structure. Those are the gymnasiums, pool, athletics areas. You can see the auditorium and the fly loft are located to the north of the commons, and they are large volumes because we do have the full fly and the auditorium with balcony seating. And then off to the north, again, those are the classroom and academic programs associated with the brick form. Here's a view of the main entrance. So we've just come up the main drive. We're kind of right about where some of the drop-off, student drop-off begins. We've got a view of the canopy here for students to come in. The main entrance is right underneath the canopy in this location. And then we've got the commons, which sits right behind the glass wall here. There's seating planned in and some plantings at the main entrance to create a friendly entrance to the building, provide space for students to wait for parents or others. This is a view of the west side of the building. So we're now standing and looking back towards the commons. The commons, again, is that glass box that connects all the way through the building. This side of the building is right adjacent to where the kitchen is. So the kitchen for the building is right here. This is where you're going to eat lunch, and if it's nice outside, you might go outside to eat lunch. So we've got a nice outdoor patio space here for students to use out during the lunch hour. And again, you'll notice in the site plan, we've got a lot of some paving and sidewalk access to take you back through the site, so you can access the prairie or other areas of the site from this walkway. And to get back into the building, you would use the entrance right here. Behind, kind of framing this, is the classroom pod. So this is where all of the general classrooms and the science labs and special education rooms are located. Lots of glass into all of those classrooms, natural light, very important. Here's a view. We've just come into the building, and we're just standing in the main commons looking out to the west. The main commons, again, it stitches together all of those kind of big function spaces. You've got the competition gym on the left-hand side here. So there's a set of doors that go into that space. So if you're coming for a basketball game, you'd come in the main entrance here and you'd go in those doors to get to the game. And then also related to that would be the auditorium. On this side of the commons is the main entrance to the auditorium. So if you're coming for a performance, you would come in the main entrance and you would go to the right to go into the auditorium. There's a main stair that connects the first and second levels in this location. We are looking at opportunities throughout the building to provide collaborative space or to provide space for students to kind of hang out. So this has some built-in kind of bench features within that stair. We call it the learning stair. It's an opportunity to provide kind of that quick moment to sit. And then in the bulk of the commons area, there'll be quite a wide variety of seating. This is probably not representative of exactly what we'll have when the building opens, but we'll be looking at having booth seating, banquettes, tables, chairs, high tops, lots of variety there to create something that's not so institutional feeling. Other ways that we try to warm up the space, we've got the wood ceiling element in this area, and then some natural light through a clear story as well. So this will be a nice, light, bright space. Going further into the building, this is a view of one of the classroom pods. So we talk about the classroom pods. One of these purple elements is what we're calling a pod. So a pod has around 8 classrooms on a level. And in the center of all of those classrooms is collaborative space, both enclosed. There, you can see in this view, there's a glass team room here, or study room. There's 2 of them in each level of these pods. And then there's floor space for other kinds of seating and study areas. And then connecting all of the classrooms to the collaborative space are some windows. So we've got a lot of transparency, visibility through the building. This is a view just outside the pod. We're looking down the corridor. Each pod would have its own sort of color scheme. So the colors begin to help with wayfinding, so you can find your way through this large building. And the colors would be replicated in some of the furnishings and wall color and carpet colors throughout the building. We've been working on trying to find ways to break the size and extent of the corridor down and to bring natural light. So we've got a clear story up here to bring natural light down into the corridor, and then there are some areas where the floors cut back, so we'll bring some natural light down to the first floor as well. Within the corridor are 2 main stairs in addition to the stair that's in the commons, so there'll be a lot of ways to get up and down and through the building. This is a view of the media center, and we're standing right by the circulation desk. We're looking out to the west, so this would be a view of the prairie and over the practice fields. And then off here in this direction, we're looking out over the commons, so you've got glass that looks out into the commons area. Along this wall are some enclosed study teaming spaces. In these kinds of spaces, we're going to be providing a lot of different kinds of furniture to support different types of learning, different types of studying. There'll be different kinds of technology. Those are some things that we begin to get to once we get a little closer to ordering those items. But this helps give you a sense for what it might look like. This is a view of the theater. This is a view kind of looking right at the stage. We're focusing a lot of our energies on what the theater looks like, the proscenium opening, what that looks like from the audience. It'll be well equipped, much better than what you have now, with lighting and rigging and AV systems. We'll have some kind of house lighting, specialty lighting built into some of the sides to provide the lighting when the lights are dimmed in the theater. And then again, there's an orchestra pit for musical performances, as well as the full fly for drama. Here's a view of the competition gym. We're standing on the track level. So the competition gym and the auxiliary gym have a track that run around the full perimeter of those spaces. And that's where, as a public or coming to a game, you would come in through onto the track level and then go down to your seat in the bleachers. There'll be a lot of great opportunities for branding the Ames High brand in this space on the wall in the back here, as well as some color schemes throughout the space, which I think they show a little better probably on that screen. And again, we're bringing natural light into this space through clear story lighting with some diffuse light so you don't feel like you're in a cave. And the final image that I have for you today is the pool or the natatorium. The pool will have seating for around 500 people. It's a stretch 25 pool. It has a movable bulkhead in the middle, which is the piece you see here. And the seating is on spectator seating is on level 1. So you'd come in through a separate pool entrance, which on the site plan is located here just south of the main entrance. And then from there, there's a stair and elevator to get you to the pool level. The pool can be completely isolated from the high school for community use or outside use during the school day. The pool has its own concession area as well, built in over here, and then locker room space is located underneath the spectator seating area.
So let's talk about how we're going to build this project, how we're going to move through. The proximity of the new building to the existing building does create some challenges, and and presents the opportunity for disruption. So as we move through this, we'll be focused on, one, minimizing disruption, maybe mostly assuring that we're safe throughout. We'll have construction operations immediately adjacent to a project, and communicating with the school district to make sure, one, everybody knows where we're going and how we're going to get there as we move through this. So, as I said earlier, we expect to start this in June of 2019, and we'll be starting on the southeast portion of the site, which is this area right here. That work will involve a geothermal system, which goes right here. We have storm detention, underground storm retention here. We have parking over the geothermal, and then this represents the south portion of the building, the gymnasium and pool portion of the building. So for the first year, we'll be focused on this area. We'll be working foundations and then starting to erect precast vertical walls in this area, and then working on constructing this parking. I'm going to go to the next slide. So as we move into what we're calling phase 2, we'll be taking over the whole site after the school is out in 2020. During that summer, we'll be focused, one of the focuses will be completing this parking area right here. So when we get to August of 2020 and school starts, we'll have lost this parking lot, but we'll be bringing in a part of the parking, the new parking here. We think we can bring back about 300 to 325 stalls in this spot. So as we start school, student parking will be over here, and we'll be constructing and maintaining access up into the school and to the stadium through here. We'll be doing some reconfiguring of paving up in this area to allow access and circulation in and out of here. We'll be starting foundations on the north half of the school, and we have a piece of utility work that we'll do in the summer of 2020 through this parking lot, which will be a cut and patch operation, putting it back in before school starts. So as we move into phase 3, this is where one of our challenging areas is. There's a big pinch point right here. The space between the existing pool and the new construction is narrow, and that's the point of the receiving dock, loading dock on the new school. Our goal will be achieve substantial completion occupancy in this in late spring, and be in a position where we can bring the existing pool down in spring of 22, likely before school's out. That will free up this area and allow us to hit the ground running with doing all the paving and site amenities that occur in this area. This is probably the biggest pinch point in the schedule, in that we need to get moved out of this school. We're going to be moving out and back in through the east while we're constructing this, and we've got 2.5 months to do it. So we'll be strategizing on making sure that we can accomplish this. So after that, we've moved into the new school. All the areas in black are in operation. We'll be relocating fence and fencing the site of the existing school and getting ready to bring it down. We'll go through a decommissioning and demolition phase. Decommissioning being disconnecting existing utilities, working through salvage. There's a little bit of asbestos abatement to be done in that period. Our goal will be to be in a position to start actual demolition activities on the school at the beginning of November or so. We think demolition activities will occur between November 1st and sometime in March. We would like to be ready to start doing earthwork and restoring grades, raising the grade to new grades as we move into the spring construction season. So the last phase of this, again, we're moved into the school, will be to bring in the athletic fields on the west side. So our goal will be to do this and be ready to seed all these fields in September of 23. And at that point, we should be completing the project. Last piece of that is probably this parking lot right up here. It's the faculty parking lot.
So that concludes our presentation to you, and